Today's a little different. This is a full tutorial. I'm taking something most people overlook and turning it into 3 completely different spines. Same material, 3 different approaches, and I'm focusing on the spine, not the full journal, because once you understand this part, you can build the rest your way. You don't always have to fold, stack, and stitch. This gives you more freedom.
Museful creations, come and see, crafted with joy soulfully.
This one started really simple. I just wanted texture first, and I found that when I'm adhering the filters one to another, a glue stick is best. You can overlap these as I'm trying to make an oval, or you can just stack them on top of each other. It just depends on the width of your spine. I'm using a stencil here, and a makeup brush was the best option. I didn't want to oversaturate this, just enough to bring it out. Next, you're going to use a ruler that can help you center 4 eyelets that you'll be putting on the edges of these spine strips. Once you've added the eyelets, you proceed to add 1/2 inch score tape, and then choose the size, of course, of the journal spine, and you're going to lay one side on the right of that spine and then the second strip on the left. Now, I did add a little bit of 3-in-1 glue only on the double-sided tape, so keep that tip in mind and then proceed to adhere. Now, I chose a different ribbon versus embroidery floss because it gave it a little bit more sass and elegance, so keep that in mind. This second spine is more dimensional and I wanted more detail, so I used color wash sprays, sunset orange and butterscotch. Then I cut the spine based on the width of my journal. A tip that I hope is helpful is using pigmented ink was best on this coffee filter surface. Using double-sided tape was the best I found when working with coffee filters, so it's important to keep that in mind, especially when you're going to adhere it to the spine based on the technique that you're thinking of implementing. Now, the adornment that I chose to put on this coffee filter rubber stamp spine are basic dies that I have for my stash, and I'm creating a 3D shaker effect. I start by gluing a hardware first, then the larger circle, and then I will assemble the shaker dimensional embellishment, if you will. And I layered this one a bit more just to give it some lift, and it starts feeling a little bit more finished. And again, just tapping into some of those die cuts that you've had in your stash for a very long time. This third spine is definitely the boldest of the 3, and I'd love to know in the comments which one of these would you try. Do let me know because I'm curious. So I'm going to cut this down, and it's the largest spine out of all 3 based on the width and the height of my spine. Then I used an embossing folder, then just trimmed the embossed coffee filter in half. Then I cut a chipboard piece 4 inches by 7¼ inches, and I basically will use this to create this coffee filter zipper spine. Next, I Used my distressing tool and ever so lightly went over the embossed filters, and then used matte medium to kind of seal the distress ink. Next I used, I believe it's a 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and this is where I'm going to adhere the zipper, if you will. And this is the fun part. You'll want to open the zipper slightly, super important to keep this tip in mind. And then you will lay one strip on the right and then the other one on the left. And then there's another important piece that you'll see next. So you're going to grab your 1/2 inch double-sided tape and put it on the edges, if you will, of the coffee filter spine. So you'll want to take the base and center your zipper and then begin to peel the double-sided tape, and then you'll adhere it. Then of course trim the excess zipper, and now I will show you the 3 spines. And none of these are finished journals. These are all naked. It's just the structure. You can decide your signature later. I don't like making the same journal over and over. Even if the base is the same, I want it to feel a little different. And honestly, these don't feel like scraps. They feel like something you could gift. Thank you and enjoy.